The political temperature along the world's longest undefended border has dropped significantly. Today, January 6, 2026, marks a new chapter in Canada-US relations, one defined by a firm Canadian response to renewed threats from former US President Donald Trump. Trump's rhetoric, echoing past trade disputes, has cast a shadow over North American stability. But this time, Canada is not scrambling. The response is coordinated, confident, and assertive. The global economy is fragile, and any hint of a trade war sends shockwaves through the markets. Trump's latest pronouncements targeted key Canadian industries, testing Canada's resolve. In return, Canada presented a unified front. Ontario Premier Doug Ford at home, and former central banker Mark Carney abroad. This is a nation stepping out from its neighbor's shadow with calm, calculated strength. The narrative has shifted from reactive uncertainty to strategic action and national unity. Ottawa, Toronto, and even diplomatic corridors in Paris are sending a clear message. Canada is ready. The old playbook of waiting and hoping is gone, replaced by a proactive strategy built on resilience and alliances. Canada is prepared to defend its interests and chart its own course, regardless of US political winds. The Canadian response unfolded on two fronts. In Toronto, Premier Doug Ford addressed the province and nation with sober determination, projecting control and readiness. He reassured workers and business owners that the government had a plan to shield them from Trump's threats. Meanwhile, in Paris, Mark Carney, former governor of the Bank of Canada and Bank of England, was quietly building international consensus. Carney's meetings with European finance ministers were no coincidence. They were about managing instability from Trump's camp. Ford's press conference was a masterclass in political communication. He acknowledged the seriousness, refused to feud, and reminded everyone of Ontario's economic strength. The message: "We faced this before, we're stronger now, and we won't be pushed around." Carney's diplomacy in Paris reinforced the message that stability and adherence to trade rules matter. He reminded European leaders that Trump's America First approach is a shared concern for all open economies. The two-pronged approach, public reassurance at home, alliance building abroad, showed a sophisticated Canadian strategy. Ford and Carney's actions were designed to communicate not just to Washington, but to Canadians and the world. The message: Canada is not waiting for the next move, it's already moving. This is a nation with a plan, not a plea. The world is watching, and Canada is ready. A pivotal moment in Ford's press conference came when he addressed the nature of the challenge. Ford described Trump as a political actor who doesn't play by the rules. "We are dealing with a competitor who doesn't play by the rules," Ford stated, steady and clear. This wasn't an emotional outburst, it was a strategic framing. By defining Trump this way, Ford shifted the narrative from a normal dispute to a fundamental clash of values. Canada can't rely on traditional negotiation when the other side ignores the rules. Ford's statement was a public declaration. Canada will no longer operate under the illusion that the old rules apply. This depersonalized the conflict. It's not Ford versus Trump, but order versus disruption. Canada stands for predictability and lawfulness, a stance that resonates with allies. The new assertive measures are not escalation, they're adaptation. Ford prepared Canadians for friction, but empowered them with clarity and resolve. Canada's leadership is no longer naive. They're ready for a contest where the rules have changed. Canada's response today is a stark contrast to its posture during the 2018 trade disputes. Back then, officials scrambled to counter sudden tariffs, focused on damage control. Now, years of dealing with unpredictability have forged a quiet confidence. Canadian governments have Trump-proofed the economy, diversifying trade, strengthening supply chains, and building a war chest of responses. When Trump's threats emerged, officials activated contingency plans. No panic, just execution. Ford highlighted how his government prepared for this scenario, learning from the NAFTA renegotiation. Canada now understands Trump's tactics and has a counter playbook. The calm resolve comes from preparation, not arrogance. Federal and provincial leaders, even from opposing parties, present a united message. This unity signals to Washington, Canada cannot be divided. The country faces this challenge as a single, cohesive entity. It's a mature, strategic nation, no longer caught off guard. At the heart of Ford's message was a steadfast commitment to economic defense. Trump's threats targeted Ontario's manufacturing heartland, but Ford responded with data and resolve. He emphasized his government's duty to defend jobs and prosperity, citing record job growth and billions in new investments. Ontario is not a supplicant, it's a powerful economic engine. Ford framed these investments as strategic assets, making Ontario indispensable to North American supply chains. The message, "Harming Canada hurts the US too." Ford vowed to pursue new investments and diversify trade, using this moment to become stronger and more self-reliant. The government stands on the front lines, armed with a strong economy and a clear mandate. In this fight, Ontarians and Canadians will not be left to fend for themselves. While Ford managed the domestic front, Carney's mission in Europe revealed a crucial shift. European leaders now see Trump's unpredictability as a threat to the entire Western alliance. The Canadian perspective is now the European perspective. Even Trump's past interest in Greenland, once dismissed as bizarre, is now seen as alarming. This shared concern created fertile ground for Carney's mission. European leaders are seeking collective strategies to manage potential instability. Carney articulated Canada's strategy of calm preparedness, presenting it as a model for G7 nations. He emphasized coordination on trade defense and strengthening international institutions. In Europe's corridors of power, Canada is building a coalition of the concerned. Ford's address was defined by his calm dismissal of fear. "We will not be scared, we will not be intimidated," he stated. Instead of panic, Ford offered a steady hand and focused on Canadian agency. He pivoted the conversation to what Canada would do for itself, accelerating economic independence. Ford highlighted investments in critical minerals, battery tech, and green steel, steps to reduce reliance on volatile supply chains. Diversification is now a mantra, with expanded trade agreements in Europe and Asia-Pacific. The US remains important, but Canada's destiny won't be hostage to any single administration. This proactive approach empowers the public, replacing helplessness with purpose. The narrative is no longer about being a victim, it's about being the architect of prosperity. Ford's message, Canada's future, is in its own hands. Trump's threats have sparked a surge in Canadian unity. Regional tensions and partisan divides have faded in the face of external pressure. Political leaders, business and labor have all rallied behind a firm, united stance. Ford, a conservative, and the liberal federal government are aligned, sending a powerful message to Washington. This unity extends beyond politics. Business and labor have issued joint statements supporting the government's strategy. The defense of Canada's economic sovereignty is now a national project. The external threat has forced Canada to recognize its shared interests and values. Instead of fracturing, the nation has become stronger and more united. The events of the past days mark a profound shift in Canada's geopolitical posture. No longer a quiet, reactive middle power, Canada is now assertive and strategically confident. The coordinated response from Ford and Carney unveils a new doctrine: preparedness, unity, and self-reliance. Canada no longer hopes for the best, it prepares for the worst, calmly and without aggression. The era of surprise is over. The lessons of the past are now institutional memory. Canada has a sophisticated, multi-pronged strategy: resolve at home, alliance building abroad. The message: Canada will not be a pawn, but a proactive player. This posture is about preventing conflict through strength and unity. Trump's threats, meant to divide, have instead forged a stronger, more self-assured nation. Canada is no longer waiting for the future, it's building it.